1,000 units, ordered before a single test. Winston Churchill, the man who saved Britain, saw a prototype rocket weapon parked on a truck for exactly 2 minutes, climbed inside, did a few gymnastics with the joystick, and immediately ordered 1,000 of them. When someone politely suggested maybe they should, test it first, Churchill turned red and repeated, "I said order 1,000 of them. Welcome to the bunker." I'm Professor von Blunder, and this is the story of the strength through joy, Nazi Germany's name ironically stolen for Britain's most embarrassing rocket disaster. Picture this. It's World War II. German aircraft are swarming British merchant ships, and the Royal Navy desperately needs anti-aircraft weapons that actually work. Enter the strength through joy, a revolutionary rocket system that could track enemy planes through a complete arc using hydraulic joystick controls. Think of it like a rotating gaming chair for war, except instead of playing Call of Duty, you're firing live rockets at actual Nazis. Only 40 component parts. Simple, elegant, genius. The prototype impressed every admiral who saw it. Churchill himself was mesmerized. Now, if you were running a war, would you order 1,000 units of something you saw on a truck for 2 minutes? Churchill did. And that's where this beautiful disaster begins. Let's rewind to how this magnificent catastrophe was born. The strength through joy consisted of 2 large rocket projectors connected by hydraulic pipes to a remote control cabin that looked like a squirrel cage. The gunlayer would strap himself into a cradle beneath the sight, grab the joystick, and could swing the rockets to any angle by moving up or down steps inside his circular steel pillbox. The brilliance was simple. An enemy aircraft comes in low over the water. You track it overhead and keep firing as it flies away. Complete coverage. The whole system had only 40 parts. 40. Your smartphone has more components than this weapon of war. On paper, it was ingenious. A car company in the Midlands built the first demonstration model, and everything was going perfectly until the Luftwaffe decided to participate. A heavy air raid obliterated the factory. The strength through joy vanished, completely destroyed. Only one drawing survived. Most engineers would have given up, not Commander Goodfellow. He worked night and day with another firm and recreated the entire set of drawings in 3 days. 3 weeks later, a brand new prototype was loaded onto a lorry and sent south to Portsmouth for trials. Trials that never happened, because on the way through London, the lorry stopped at Horse Guards Parade for inspection. Senior officers gathered. Then admirals arrived. Then more admirals. The high brass got thicker around the parked truck until someone from the Board of Admiralty walked into number 10 Downing Street and brought out Winston Churchill himself. The Prime Minister climbed into the control cabin, grabbed the joystick, and swung himself on the site, watching the rocket projector follow his movements. He did gymnastics. He was delighted. When he climbed out, he declared, "A very impressive weapon. Order 1,000 of them." Someone nervously mentioned that it hadn't actually been tested yet. Churchill's face reddened. "I said, order 1,000 of them." So, 1,000 were ordered, based on a 2-minute joyride by the Prime Minister, on a truck, in London. What could possibly go wrong? Now, here's where the genius design meets catastrophic reality. The hydraulic follow-up mechanism was the heart of the entire system. It guided the movement of the projector from the site by remote control, and it was supposed to be accurate to within 1/4 of a degree. In engineering terms, that means the hydraulic fluid was supposed to transmit the joystick's movements perfectly. In real terms, it meant they were praying really hard. For a shotgun weapon firing salvos of rockets, a 1/4 degree margin would have been satisfactory. And here's the thing. In the hands of the makers, at the factory, on dry land, the mechanism achieved this degree of accuracy. It worked flawlessly, perfectly, every single time. But at sea, it was an alarmingly different story. With the Prime Minister's interest aroused and 1,000 units already on order, the first strength through joy was rushed to sea trials. The location, Kilbrennan Sound, south of Arran Island. Testing officer Menhennick checked over the equipment. Everything seemed in order. He watched the gun layer, let's call him Private Timmy, strap himself into the harness below the sight in his revolving cabin. Timmy tested the controls. The 2 batteries of rockets swiveled easily and obediently as he moved the joystick. Up, down, left, right. Smooth as butter. Perfect response. Then the aircraft came into sight, heading towards the ship with its towed target. Timmy tracked it through the sight, joystick in hand, ready for his moment of glory. The firing order was given from the bridge. And that's when something made Menhenik glance over his shoulder at the projectors. What he saw made his blood run cold. The rockets were gradually beginning to sag towards the deck. The hydraulic system had failed. They were no longer answering to the controls. The projectors were drooping like a sad flower. And Timmy, strapped into his revolving cage of death, had no idea. The commander in charge, watching the target through his glasses, was unaware of anything amiss. He shouted, "Fire!" "Stop everything," bellowed the captain, who had heard Menhenik's startled exclamation and saw the projectors still drooping towards the deck. It was too late. Timmy pressed the firing key just as the rockets sagged to their limit, and the full salvo went screaming low over the deck into the sea just off the port side, throwing up a towering column of black foam. For a moment, there was awestruck silence. The kind of silence that happens when everyone aboard a warship realizes they nearly got obliterated by their own weapon. Then the captain spoke. "A fantastic weapon, Menhenik. A really fantastic weapon. In tactical terms, that means the weapon was supposed to shoot the enemy. In practice, it tried to shoot itself. The rocket team and the makers of the Strength Through Joy tried desperately to eliminate this fatal flaw. They tested it, adjusted it, recalibrated it. However well it performed at the works and on trials ashore, it went wrong with unfailing regularity at sea. The connection between the sight and the projectors was frequently so erratic that an error of 10 degrees was common. 10 degrees? That's not a margin of error, that's a completely different target. You're aiming at a German bomber and hitting a seagull behind you. In military procurement terms, Churchill ordered 1,000 of them. In sane person terms, that's like buying 1,000 cars that explode when you turn left. Test 1 sagged toward the deck. Test 2 sagged toward the deck and nearly shot the ship. Only a few of the 1,000 were ever actually made, and these were installed in merchant ships where they proved highly unpopular. Highly unpopular is British military understatement, for the crews would rather face the Luftwaffe unarmed than risk being killed by their own rockets. And poor Timmy, he's still strapped in that revolving cabin somewhere in the Kilbrennan Sound, joystick in hand, rockets pointed at his own feet, wondering what went wrong. Time for the Stupidity Meter. Let's rate the Strength Through Joy on 3 critical metrics. Money wasted. Churchill ordered 1,000 units of an untested weapon based on a 2-minute demonstration on a truck. Only a few were ever built, and those that were got installed on ships where crews hated them. That's a 9 out of 10 for spectacular budget incineration. Enemies killed, 0. Zilch. None. The only thing the Strength Through Joy ever successfully attacked was the sea next to its own ship. 0 out of 10. Collateral damage to Timmy. Our brave gunlayer strapped himself into a rotating cage and nearly fired a full rocket salvo into his own vessel. 10 out of 10 for self-inflicted chaos. Overall stupidity score, 8 out of 10. A truly fantastic weapon. So here's my question. If you had Churchill's authority in 1943, what untested weapon would you order 1,000 of based on a 2-minute demonstration? A rocket-powered teapot? An exploding umbrella? A submarine with screen doors? Let me know in the comments, and make sure to subscribe to see more military disasters delivered straight from the bunker. And someone please check on Timmy. Last I heard, he was still strapped in that revolving cabin in the Kilbrennan Sound, dodging his own rockets and questioning every life choice that led him to this moment.